Welcome back to another episode of Manzarra the Hobbyist. Today I'll be doing a book review for Wolf Totem, a novel by Jiang Rong. That's probably pronounced quite incorrectly. I don't know how the proper pronunciation on that looks, but here's the book. Wolf Totem, Jiang Rong, probably mispronounced. On the back, the book welcomes you in by saying, China's runaway bestseller and winner of the inaugural Man Asia Literary Prize, now a major motion picture. Wolf Totem draws on the author's experience during the Cultural Revolution of the late 1960s and 70s. Chen Zhen, a Beijing college student, volunteers to work in China's remote Inner Mongolia region as part of a movement to modernize the countryside. As he admires the balanced lifestyle of the nomadic herdsmen there, he also grows fascinated by the fierce and otherworldly Mongolian wolf. But when government policies threaten the wolf's extinction, he sees an unfolding ecological tragedy and a parable for China's explosive growth. The book's pretty long. The text is pretty thick. Like if I just open up here, you can see there's not a ton of breaks and it's pretty chunky. The text is kind of small. I think there was a total of 500 and let's see, 524 pages if you include the epilogue, but I think you have to include the epilogue because kind of just a continuation of the story here. Yeah, 524 pages, thick text. It's kind of chunky. So it took off a little slow. Not saying it wasn't interesting from the beginning. I enjoyed this book thoroughly. I really liked how they explored the Mongolian nomadic deities for these story, and then how you heard the Beijing students talking about their life versus the life they were living with the herdsmen, and how they were acclimating to their jobs and all. Like they give you a pretty good like timeline of how they come up there, and when the story opens up, these guys are already there, a part of the life, and they all seem to enjoy it a lot. It's a different culture from what we see in America, and definitely like it's a lot different than modern day. I loved all of the details they went into. So like they gave a breakdown of the day to day life for these different herdsmen, for the horsemen and the people who herd the cattle, the sheep herders, how they take care of their dogs, how they hunt different animals from pests to predators to prey all over the Mongolian countryside. Um, and they explain like the movements and how often they move and how the balance between these movements affects how the terrain adjusts to their feedings for the animals. Um, so Shenzhen is a part of a yurt, or yeah, he lives in a yurt with several other students from Beijing who all learned from someone that they refer to as Papa. The name is in there. There's so many different names in this book. It's hard to keep up with everybody, but Shenzhen loves everything he learns about the wolves from this fatherly figure he has up there that he learns all of his nomadic skills from. And apparently there's a lot more students there. We do get to interact with some, but not everybody is as into the traditional lifestyles as the group of herdsmen that live together in this encampment. And what happens is these guys, they're trying to be thoughtful of how what they do affects these areas, where these other students, they're just excited to bring this nomadic lifestyle up to date in modern times for the 1960s and 70s. So they're bringing in like trucks and tanks and rifles and handguns. So all this stuff that's different from how they're used to hunting and trapping and herding. The main character, he is so fascinated with the Mongolian wolf that he actually pursues capturing one and raising it himself against the wishes of some of the fellow herdsmen, because they have the idea that these wolves are sort of blessed by their deity, and they don't want to upset the balance. Like they say, the wolves prey on their stuff, and as they kill the wolves, they eventually, to give back, the way that they do their burials in that tribe is that they take them to a mountaintop and they drag the body alongside behind a horse as the horse runs as fast as it can, and wherever the body falls off, that's where they leave the body for the vultures and the wolves to come by and finish off. And that is how they do their burial ceremonies, and it's called sky burial. Because Tenger, which I don't think that's a good pronunciation either, is the god of the mountainsides. He's the god of everything up in the Mongolias, and he is the wolf god. Not that he is a wolf-like god, but that he blessed the wolves above everything else. And that the Mongolian herdsmen have survived the way they have because they learned from the wolves how to live their lives, and personality, and like skill. And it's really cool because they go into like how the Mongolians have defended themselves against the Chinese, or they say the Han Chinese. And then they talk about the Yellow Emperor some. Really, it's interesting the flow in between the modern times in the book, the history of Mongolia and China, the history of hunting, the history of sort of like martial bearings, like how they direct their wars, and they win and they defended their territories and they didn't lose. So overall, it's a really good book. You definitely it takes some intent to finish because of how thick the script is, but it's definitely worth it. It's so good. I recommend it. I took a really long time to finish this book. I travel often for work, and I took this book to a bunch of different cities with me, and I enjoyed reading it on the plane, or in the airports, or in my hotel room whenever I had some downtime. All right, well, that's another book with Manzarra the Hobbyist, The Wolf Totem by Jiang Rong. Give it a read. Let us know what you think. Give me comments, likes, shares. Tell me what you think. Tell me what you want to see in these videos. Thank you.